Hello, my dears. This is Resilient Lives coming to you on the eve of the huge election. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I hope that your Halloween weekend was everything that you wanted it to be. It was different as everything else has been. I'm sure that the holiday was celebrated novelly. We had a few children that came by, but basically you could count them on one hand, maybe two. And so we are still learning to do the things that we want, need to do in a novel way, in a safe way. And I certainly hope that that's what you're doing. And so I'm sending you some energy and some love, trusting that you're continuing to thrive. You know, it's, I trust that you voted. I've seen long lines of people voting every place. And I, maybe 2 weeks ago, stood in a long line because it was important. So here we are on the eve of a possible transition of an event that could change our whole world, our whole way of being, right? And we can't help but think about it. I mean, it's just, it's every place you go. I went to the dentist for a cleaning, and parked in the parking lot was a pickup truck, and it had in tow this huge elephant on the platform. And I thought, oh dear, how often do I go to the parking lot of the dentist and see this? And so we just have to remain strong in who we are and what we want. But you can't help but to reflect on possible changes. I mean, on the news, they had or showed pictures of businesses that were boarding up the glass and the doors and the windows of their shops in case the results are not what the people want. That certainly is different than any election. I don't really remember, and I've been around a little while, I remember any election where in various cities all over, they're boarding up. It has been so, how would I describe it? Disruptive. But this time tomorrow, the polls will be closed and the count will be on. And I trust that we all remember who we are and what we stand for. It gets a little crazy when people start talking about politics and religion. But this has been a divisive time, and we're in the middle of a pandemic, and we're dealing with systemic racism, and we're dealing with job loss and deaths. And so this is a time that is layered with so much. And in previous crises like 9/11 and huge crises, the country has come together And it's been wonderful to see people helping each other, people doing different things to help each other. And even in this pandemic, there are people who are going around to seniors who can't get out and delivering food or are delivering joy packages. Well, we don't know what tomorrow will bring, but we know that in our hearts, we are the vital support of each other. We are the reason why we are even doing the vlogs, is because we believe that together is healing. And so I'm trusting that that our hearts will determine who we are after this election, and will help us, that we'll still be the people that help each other, and we won't turn against each other. And so I'm just sending you a little love, a lot of love, a lot of energy, because we've talked about, when we look back, that temporal distancing, we look back on the situation and see how it was when the election was over, and what it was and how we got through it. That'll be an interesting reflection. But Freud is the one who talks about the beauty of suffering. Of course, he's talking about it after you're past it, When you look back, one of his quotes is, when you look back on the suffering, you realize the beauty in it. I have had some suffering, but what suffering does for us is what we've been discussing before. It helps us to grow. And that's what we've been doing during this pandemic. We have been quarantine limited. Shall we go out? Now it's time to come back in, open up, close up. And we have been constantly flexible to whatever the protocols are. And we've grown. We've become different. And I'm just suggesting that I'm certainly hoping that we will guard our hearts, and it'll be a joyous outcome. But we want to continue to thrive and to flourish and to continue to support one another. So on the eve of this huge eve, enjoy the day tomorrow. Be yourself, relax, and we will be in touch again. Know that I love you and all is well. Bye now.